Listen, truth hurts. That opening line is a banger, right? Unfortunately for Lizzo, two people have come against her to claim plagiarism over that line. So listen, I know you come here for the tea, but not just any tea. You want that legal tea. Welcome to the Legal Tea, where we discuss pop culture from a legal view. I'm your host, brand attorney Latanya Murray, owner of Mark IP Solutions, where I help clients throughout the United States own their genius through trademarks, copyrights, and contracts. Listen, we got a good one for you today, so let's get started. I just took a DNA test. Turns out I'm 100% that, you know the lyrics. I know you know the lyrics. It's been like number one on the charts for like weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks. So listen, the first person was a British singer who said that she tweeted that line out in 2017, and Lizzo was like, that's great, but who are you again? Like, I've never seen your tweet. She's always said that she got that line from an Instagram post. Whenever someone asked about it, she's always giving credit to the Instagram post that she saw that line on. Well, a few weeks ago, brothers, I think the Raisins brothers, what are they? Jeremy and, Justin and Jeremiah, they're two songwriters. They took to Instagram to say, basically, Lizzo, give us our credit. We've been trying to reach out to you and reach out to your people, but we haven't heard anything. Back in 2017, we sat with you and some other people, and we wrote this song called Healthy, right? And Healthy starts out the same way as Truth Hurts, and the melody is kind of the same, so what's up? Give us credit. We haven't heard anything from Lizzo or her camp on how they're going to respond. But today, what I want to talk to you about is what? Plagiarism. These accusations really bring forth a great question as it relates to business. Like, what is plagiarism? Plagiarism is when you take somebody else's work and you make it seem like it's your own. You don't give them credit for it. You just try to pass it off as your own. It's fraud, and unfortunately, it's really more common than you realize. I mean, I know some Instagram coaches who are telling their people, when you see these memes and you see this work, instead of just reposting it, because when you repost it, it has the name of the original poster on there, right? Just type it up as your own and post it on your own page with your own branding. Like you're the person that came up with it. Yeah, no, that's fraud, that's plagiarism. Don't do that, okay? Let's not do that. Do you guys remember, like right now I'm helping my fourth grader write a paper, and we're doing some research, and I'm like, you have to give credit where this idea came from. You have to, and I keep telling that over and over. You remember when we wrote papers and we had to cite our sources if we came up with an idea, not just when we copy, word for word as far as quotation mark, but when they gave us an idea or an idea of ours, we had to cite where that came from. What happened to those days? What happened to those days where we used to cite our sources? Why is it that, well, I won't even say why is it. I'm going to tell you what I think. I think that people nowadays are in such a hurry, or they really want to be known as subject matter experts. So rather than giving anyone else credit, they want to make themselves seem like they're the genius that came up with this, right? Knowing that they've read a gazillion books, they're taking courses, and all this information and knowledge they have came from somewhere. Listen, you can be a subject matter expert on something without coming up with the idea yourself. You have to give credit where credit is due, right? Yes. Listen, everybody out here is in such a hurry to be a subject matter expert. They're out here committing fraud in these internet streets. And here, listen, I'm here to warn you. You in danger, girl? Danger! No, for real. All ghost references aside, plagiarism can have real consequences, especially if copyright infringement is involved. Yes. For those of you who do not know, plagiarism and copyrights are two different things. So while plagiarism focuses on the fraud act of not giving credit, copyright is really a grant given to the person that creates an original work that's in a fixed, tangible form. It's a grant of rights, and really, typically those rights include the right to exclude other people from doing anything with their work without their permission. So they're two different things. So while plagiarism is really about attributing the proper credit to the creator of the work, the copyright is really a matter of protecting and enforcing that right, the rights of the creator when they create that work. Which is why posting, I don't own the rights to this music, doesn't overcome the copyright infringement of that. Yes, you're giving credit, but you're still infringing on someone's copyright. So you cannot have plagiarism, you can avoid plagiarism and still be infringing on someone's copyright. So that's the two kind of overlap. You can have plagiarism and copyright, but sometimes you have copyright infringement with no plagiarism. So, and that's what I really want you to understand, because a lot of people think that plagiarism and copyrights are the same thing. They have an understanding that if I just give credit to it, so if I download this entire album, right, and when I don't charge for it and I let them know who the artist is, I'm not committing copyright infringement. But that's not how that would work. You are absolutely committing copyright infringement, even if you're not committing plagiarism. And if that work you copy just happens to be protected by copyrights, then you can be looking at civil or criminal liabilities. Now, even though it's rare, in the United States, you can be penalized outside of copyright infringement, meaning that you don't necessarily have to infringe on someone's copyrights to face civil or criminal liabilities for plagiarism. There's an example that I saw on plagiarism.org where there's a writer, her name is, let me see what her name is, Kavana Her name is Kavaya Viswanathan. I screwed that up, but her name is Viswanathan. Viswanathan. That's what we're going to say, Viswanathan. So, I saw this story on plagiarism.org, like I said. So apparently this author got a book advance from her publisher to write a book. She says that she has a photographic memory, so as she was writing, she wasn't aware that what she was writing were not original thoughts, but content from a book that she had read 3 or 4 times previously. She was able to avoid being sued for breach of contract by her publisher by returning all the advance. So in that case, you see how the fraud can open you up to civil liabilities with that. So in Lizzo's case, she's always been forthcoming that that was not an original thought, that she did not come up with that line 100%. Like, she didn't come up with that. She's always given credit to that Instagram post, which is why it's unclear whether or not the Raisins brothers are saying that they are, like, I don't know what their challenge is. I don't know if they're saying that, hey, she didn't get it from an Instagram post, she got it from us. That's one thing. Or are they saying that she got it from an Instagram post, but we were in the room and we all wrote this together, therefore we need to be given credit for deciding to include that into a written work. And then if you go back and listen to the clip that I played, which was uploaded by the Raisin Brothers, it starts out with Truth Hurts, and then it changes to It's Heavenly. Is that the name of it?
I just took a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch, even when I'm crying crazy. I just did a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch, even when I'm holistic. I just did a DNA test, turns out I'm 100% that bitch, even.
And after that, it combines the two songs together, and there's definitely an overlap. So we just need to learn more about this situation to see what's going on as it relates to the plagiarism part, and what are they saying that they contributed to this line. That's what we want to know. So listen, our 3 takeaways, right? We got 3 takeaways. If you're using someone else's work, make sure to give them credit. Number 2, if the work that you're using constitutes copyright infringement, giving credit will not help. You need to seek permission. And 3, the liabilities for plagiarism outside of copyright infringement really is tied to fraud. So if something that you're doing is the work that you're using without giving credit constitutes fraud, you can be in trouble. For example, let's say you're constantly passing off someone else's work for your own, and then someone hires you, but you're unable to perform at the level expected based off of the content that you posted because it ain't yours. Just nothing that you created or came up with, right? And now that person is going to sue you for misrepresentation. They're going to sue you for fraud. They can sue you for breach of contract and a whole bunch of other civil claims. And so let's just avoid all that. Let's just operate in our realm of genius. If you got an idea from a book, let people know that you got it from that book. It's perfectly okay. You know, people are going to be like, oh man, she can read. Yay. You know, and a lot of times what happens is, this is what I tell people, especially when they come to me for protecting their courses. When we're reading books, when we're taking courses, when we are learning new information, right? We can't take that information and verbatim use it as our own, because that's copyright infringement. But often what happens is, if I read something and you read something, we're going to interpret it two different ways. It's going to hit us and affect us in two different ways. And so what we're teaching, and what you see a lot of these books doing, is they're taking it and they're giving their opinion on it and how they processed it. I mean, goodness, you can pick up how many finance books, right? You can pick up how many mindsets books. And a lot of, and just even with business books in particular, right? All these books, they have the same theme. They're talking about the same thing, but they're talking about it in a manner that is unique to them. So you're saying, so LaKanya, if I write this book that's unique to me, that I've taken this information and I'm writing this book and it's unique to me, does that mean that I'm not committing plagiarism by not giving those other books credit? No, that's not what that means. That means you're not committing necessarily copyright infringement. But if you're getting some ideas from a book, you need to have a reference page in the back. In the back of that book, that's list where these trains of thoughts come from, what articles you read, what books you read, to reference back to. If you did not come up with this stuff, if this is not original to you, if you read something and you had to just, like I said, just go back to elementary, middle school, high school writing, when you had to cite your sources, it didn't matter if you copied or cited, use it word from word. If you get that idea from a source, the teachers want to know, hey, where did this come from? At least my teachers did. I don't know what kind of school y'all went to, but my teachers did. Listen, thank you so much for listening to The Legal Tea. Make sure that you rate this video. If you're watching on YouTube, and make sure that you leave a review. If you haven't left a review for the podcast, make sure you leave a review for the podcast. Share this with a friend, and I hope to see you next. Keep building your business and growing your brand.